friends, welcome to my cricket dreams. In this video, I plan to say today's cricket news. Here we look at top 5 Cricket World Cup matches in the 20th century of the game. Cricket is a game of uncertainties. One wicket, one boundary or even a single, any of them can change the complexion of a game. Cricket is prone to the momentum swings at any instant. The stakes get higher when the tournament happens to be in a 50-hour World Cup. India losing to Australia by a single run in the 1987 edition of the competition is but a distant memory. A closer such instance would be South Africa's semi-final clash against Australia way back in 1999. The nail-biting proceedings courtesy Lance Klusener's lone man effort at the Boston that day reached the last over. Needing 9 runs to win, Klusener skidded the first 2 balls of the over to the boundary to tie the scores. After missing out on the 3rd ball, he ran for the game to the winning single of the 4th ball, only for the ball-winning Alan Donald getting run out. All through the match ended in a tie, it was more akin to a defeat grabbed from the jaws of victory for the Proteas. The result was enough to propel Australia to the final where they could win their first of their 3 consecutive titles. There have been also a few intense matches in the 50-hour World Cup in the 20th century. The feeling of winning an intense game is exhilarating. Equally, the pain of losing one is also escalating. On that note, let us look at top 4 most competitive games in the ICC Cricket World Cup in the 21st century. And number 1, New Zealand vs West Indies, Manchester 2019. New Zealand and West Indies played out one of the best games of the 2019 ICC World Cup in Manchester. From the very first over, the quality of cricket was exceptional. Sheldon Cottrell's executive swing sent both Marty Guptill and Colin Munro back to the pavilion for a golden ducks. While Guptill fell LBW to a Yorker length ball, Munro was undone by an outswinger that cleaned up his stumps. Kiwi skipper Kane Williamson then stitched a much-needed partnership with Ross Taylor to steady the ship. However, Taylor lost his important wicket while trying to attack Chris Gayle. But Williamson carried on and finished with a knock of brilliant 150, started with 14 fours and a 6 as New Zealand posted 291 on the board. In response of this, Trent Boult did a Sheldon Cottrell to wreak early damage in the West Indian innings. Shea Hope dragged the ball onto his stumps while Nicholas Pooran fell while trying to muscle a bouncer. Chris Gayle and Shimron Atmaya began the recovery act for the West Indies. Both players reached their half-centuries in quick time as West Indies were comfortably perched at a neat score of 150 for 2 after just 22 overs. The seemingly easy chance looked anything but easy when West Indies lost 5 wickets in as many overs. Carlos Brathwaite and Kemar Roach were now at the crease, but Roach fell in the 38th over with a score just at 211. Carlos Brathwaite continued to wage a lone battle but lost another partner in the 45th over. With 46 runs still to get and O'Shane Thomas, who could barely be trusted with the bat, at the other end, Brathwaite began to go for the raw power out of desperation. Matt Henry 47 over vanished for nearly 30 runs. Only 8 runs were needed on the last 2 overs as Brathwaite reached 98 runs not out. Jimmy Neesham kept things tight, starting the penultimate over with 3 dot balls before conceding a couple as Brathwaite completed a rich, deserving century. Yet another dot ball meant the West Indies needed 6 runs of 7 balls. Neesham banged the ball in short in a bid to wrap up the game before the last over. Brathwaite went for a maximum. The ball was seemingly driving over the ropes, but then New Zealand's hero Trent Boult desperately plucked out a catch after recovering to keep his balance. A brilliant catch ended a brilliant game as Carlos Brathwaite fell just short of repeating his Kolkata heroics in the T20 World Cup. And number 2, New Zealand vs South Africa. Eden Park 2015. Eden Park is known for its short boundaries and lots of runs. When South Africa and New Zealand met at this ground in the 2015, a place in the World Cup final was at stake. In a rain-hit game, South Africa versus New Zealand, South Africa started brilliantly with a bat. As Faf du Plessis, South African skipper, scored 82 and AB de Villiers hit a half century. When proceedings resumed after rain, David Miller came to the party with a brilliant 49 of just 20 deliveries. New Zealand needed to chase down a Duckworth Lewis at just total of 298 in just 43 overs to reach their first World Cup finale. New Zealand captain Brendan McCullum started the chase with a 6 of Dale Steyn as the Kiwis roamed to 70 runs in a mere 6 overs. They played like a T20 match. Once McCullum fell, the Proteas began to chip back away and reduced the New Zealand to 149 for the loss of 4 wickets in 22 overs following Ross Taylor's departure in the crease. With just over 21 overs to go and the target still 149 runs away, the hosts needed something miracle to win the game. And it came with a partnership between Grant Elliott and Corey Anderson. Morne Morkel's 38 over once again tightened the noose around the New Zealand's neck. They could only get a single in the first 5 deliveries of the over. Anderson impatiently heaved the last ball on the leg side, but it flew straight up into the safe palms of Faf du Plessis. With 5 more overs to go, New Zealand were now 252 for the loss of 5 wickets. Needing to defend 29 runs of 18 balls, Dale Steyn was given the opportunity. Dale Steyn came back into the attack and built up more pressure with a tidy over, dismissing Luke Ronji and conceding only 6 runs as well. 23 runs to win from 12 balls, Morne Morkel was asked to bowl the penultimate over. Morkel also started his over brilliantly, giving away just 4 runs of 4 balls. It was getting desperate for New Zealand now. Grant Elliott had to improvise to guide the next ball, full and wide out of into an extra cover boundary. He picked up another couple as New Zealand required 13 runs to get from the last over. It was Dale Steyn with Grant Elliott in the Eden Park, but on strike was Daniel Vettori. The Kiwis stole a quick single. Elliott missed out on a full toss on the next ball and could only manage a single. The equation petered down to 11 runs for 4 balls. The pressure was on Kiwis despite Steyn feeling his hamstring. The physio was on the field, but Steyn wouldn't back away from the over. Vettori gathered all his experience to squeeze out a yorker to the third man for a much-needed boundary. We all know what happened next. With Grant Elliott on strike, 5 runs in need of 2 balls, but the batsman needed only 1. Elliott swung his bat for a maximum into the grandstand at Eden Park. The scenes that followed tears in the eyes of AB de Villiers and Morne Morkel. Dale Steyn laying on the pitch in Auckland could have moved into neutral fans to tears. And number 3, New Zealand versus Australia, Eden Park, this time also 2015. Before the Indians' high-scoring semi-final at Eden Park, which was against South Africa, this time New Zealand and Australia met in the group stages of the 2015 World Cup to play an enthralling, low-scoring encounter. Trent Boult and Mitchell Starc were the protagonists of the game. First, it was Boult who ran through the Australian mid-order. Glenn Maxwell became Boult's first victim when the batsman dragged the balls onto his own stumps. Mitchell Marsh suffered a similar fate by playing on the same over. Michael Clarke was caught at short cover point by Williamson before Mitchell Johnson also fell playing a similar shot. Boult completed his fifer with a piece of swing delivery to Starc as Australia were bundled out for 151 in just 32 overs. New Zealand seems to be in a hurry to finish off as the evidence was McCallum's quick start. Now it was Mitchell Starc's turn to make the ball dance to his tunes. Could chipped 1-2 Pat Cummins at mid-on. The host rode on with Kane Williamson and Brendan McCullum through as Starc was taken to the attack. Once McCullum was dismissed, the Starc was brought back into the attack and left armour began to wreck New Zealand. Starc brought a sharp full delivery back in to clean up Ross Taylor's stumps. He delivered another sharp in-swinging yorker to Grant Elliott as the batsman was bowled on the very first ball itself. With New Zealand needing just 6 runs to win in the 3 wickets in hand, Stark cleaned up Adam Line up for a full delivery on the middle stump. On the very next ball, he rattled the off stump of Team Saudi with a vicious swinging delivery. Bolt had cleaned Stark up when the former was bowling earlier in the game. Now Bolt had to see out 2 balls from Stark before Williamson could get a strike. Australia pacer targeted middle and leg but not quite find the Yorker as Bolt watchfully defended. Stark went Yorker length with dangerous swing again. The ball, however, missed the stump by a whisker as Bolt survived somehow. Back on strike in the next over, Williamson smashed a 6 to end a highly intense game of cricket. The crowd came to see good cricket and the boy was in some game they witnessed. Number 4 and the last one, England versus New Zealand. World Cup Final 2019. The home of cricket in the Lords saw the best ever World Cup Final between the hosts England and New Zealand in the overcast conditions. The Kiwis found useful contributions from Henry Nicholas and Kane Williamson and Tom Latham to put up something around 250 on the board. England lost Jason Roy and Joe Root cheaply. Lockie Ferguson and James Neesham then struck a twin blow to send back Johnny Bairstow and the England skipper Ian Morgan as England slumped to 86 for 4 in quick succession. Josh Butler and Ben Stokes up with a team-saving 100-run partnership to get the English chase back on track. But Lockie Ferguson again came to torment England by dismissing Josh Butler as Team Saudi took a good catch at deep point. The equation came down to 24 runs in the last 2 overs. Jimmy Neesham started the penultimate over with 2 singles and the wicket of Liam Plunkett. In the 4th ball of the over, Ben Stokes skied one to deep mid-wicket. Trent Boult took the catch but stepped over the ropes. It was a lucky escape for England as 6 runs got added to the total instead of losing Stokes. Just after that, England then lost their 8th wicket as Jofra Archer headed back to the pavilion. It was now Trent Boult versus Ben Stokes with England needing 15 runs to win. The Kiwi pacers started with 2 dots. Stokes dragged the 3rd ball from the outside of stump to deep wicket boundary for a 6. 9 needed of 3. Then came a blizzard moment. Stokes worked the ball to mid-wicket and ran for the 2nd. But Martin Guptill's throw hit Stokes' bat and ricochetted to the boundary. The batting side was awarded 6 runs freely by the umpire. Needing 3 runs to win from 2 balls, Stokes ran to get a couple of runs as there were 2 run-outs at the other ends. The game was tied and a super over was ensured. New Zealand required 15 runs to win in the super over when Jimmy Neesham left 2 to get from 1 ball for Martin Guptill. It was Guptill's first ball of the over and he could only manage a single, getting run out while going for the 2nd. The scores were tied again, but unfortunately for New Zealand, England won by a controversial maximum boundary rule. Thank you for watching my channel. Kindly like, subscribe and comment. And for more such notifications of the world cricket, kindly subscribe channel. And also, please like, share and comment the video. Thank you.